on the Beat with Tony Morrone, and we have Les Emmerson.
Yes.
No relation to Keith, of course.
No, he only has one M. That's the other side of the family tree, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so we've just watched you here at the Vinyl 95.3. That's a classic radio station.
Yes.
And your five-man electrical band has been a Canadian classic for years. In fact, one of your songs was also in a movie soundtrack way back.
Yes, we've had, I'm the luckiest guy you've ever met. I'm telling you, we've had so much good fortune. One of the songs, a song called Moonshine, was in a movie called The Moonshine War with Alan Alda. It wasn't a great movie. It didn't exactly break any box office records, but it was really neat to see your name going by in the credits, you know. And it was fun to hear it in there, but it was just, it was a thing. That was just one of the first steps that we were taking. We knew that we were going in the right direction, you know.
And when did that happen, as far as when the band had first been released?
Right.
How many years before you actually saw that into the soundtrack?
Well, you know, it's a really long story. This was as the five-man electrical band. We were called, virtually the same group, but we were called the Staccatos before that. And we had had a lot of success, only in Canada, really. We were voted like Band of the Year, and we had Record of the Year one time. And then but we decided we're going to change our musical style. We changed our name, and off we went. Now, that was about, we changed record labels, and that was like 1970. And about a year after that came Signs, okay, which was a real changing point in our life. Signs was originally released as the B-side. The record company put out a song called Hello Melinda Goodbye. Didn't go anywhere. And if it wasn't for one man, our producer, Dallas Smith, who kept hounding them to re-release the record, that would never have seen the light of day. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And since then, you guys have always, you're still together, and
yeah, we're still out there, and we're going to keep on playing just as long as it's fun. As soon as it becomes a drag, we won't do it anymore because life's too short. But also, and this is really odd to think about at our age and everything, we are going to go and we're going to record some new stuff. I've got an album and a half in my brain, and I've got to get it out of my brain. You know, it's like when your computer gets full, you got to dump it, you know. I said, so I really would like to get it. Our bass player has got a pretty nice little studio going, so we're going in to do something.
And the new modern technology, you can literally record in your basement, but then the final mix comes into a...
Yeah, the state of the art is quite different than when you wouldn't believe how it was when we started. We had no one to teach us. We kind of learned the hard way, you know. And we had a couple of records done on 4 tracks. We had so much musical information on those 4 tracks. It was awfully hard to mix. But
you were a tight band.
Oh yeah. We had you have to learn how to rehearse for a recording. You know, it's quite different than from rehearsing live because you have to do it in sections. And we figured that out after a couple of glaring errors. You know, we learned everything the hard way.
Well, with this new modern technology, you wrote a lot of the original songs.
Yes, most of them. Yeah.
How do you find it nowadays?
Well, you know, I always had the luxury of having a great bunch of guys. We had some great singers in our band, and vocals. This is what always set us a little bit apart, I think. There's always going to be bands where there's going to be better musicians. They're going to just play off the stage. But if you can sing together, see, that takes time, and that takes a lot of dedication. Instead of just sitting there with all your instruments blaring away, if you sit there with one acoustic guitar and you learn how to sing together, you blend, that's what makes a record. You know, that's what makes a great record is, you know, what you're trying to say, and that's a big part of it anyway. And some of our heroes growing up were like, you know, the Beatles certainly, the Beach Boys, who could sing like crazy, Mamas and Papas, you know, yeah, but vocal things that really excited us. We opened the show for the Beach Boys one time, and I heard them warming up in their dressing room, and I thought, wow, we've got light years to go yet. They were just so slick and so smooth, you know. But we kept at it, and you know, we had our own little style. You can't help it. It'll eventually evolve, you know. But we're all on the same wavelength too. And like I was saying earlier, I was the luckiest guy, you know, because to write a song, I could write and I could hear all the parts because I knew where everybody's range was. And I could almost hear it done before we even rehearsed it, you know, which was really a trip. And there were a couple of tunes. There's a song called I'm a Stranger Here and a song called Werewolf. Those 2 songs were exactly like I heard them in my head, and that rarely happens. Usually you have to compromise and change things. But I heard them in my head, everybody sang it, and boom, there it was. Done, you know.
Oh, and nowadays you're playing with classics like David Clayton Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it so much, and we do all kinds of these shows. You know, the very first autograph I ever got in my life when I was about 12 years old was Chuck Berry, and a few years after that, well, quite a few years after that, I was playing with Chuck as part of his band.
Wow.
The five-man electrical band backed up Chuck Berry in 1969. At the Whiskey A Go-Go in L.A. We played with them for a week, and we played with them a couple other places down the line. And this is like a founding father of rock and roll. You really learned a lot from him, you know. So over the years, we have played so many great artists, and most of them are just the same as we are. You know, they're just a bunch of guys out there doing what they love, you know. And when I look back, I mean, we've been very, very fortunate. We get some good long-lasting friends, even some new ones. Because 20 years to the day after Signs was recorded, a group called Tesla re-recorded Signs, and it sold over 1.5 million records by them.
Wow. And
we became friends with them. They just happened to come and see us play one night, because chances are you'd never see somebody that just records one of your songs. And so anyway, we stay in touch.
And some of the bands that are still around today that influenced your music, can you name a couple of those?
Oh yeah, oh gee, there are so many. Well, a lot of them aren't around anymore. Like I said, the Beach Boys are around in fragments of them, and but there was a group called the Rascals, the Young Rascals from New York City, who were really, really tough. I really liked their approach. They were great singers, but they also had a little bit of an edge to them. They're one of my favorite bands. Yeah, there's all kinds of bands still around, and you can still go to see John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival. He sounds as good as the day he was minted.
Well, I noticed
so great.
I noticed the Moody Blues are here.
Yes, yeah, and the Blues Fest in Ottawa, which is a pretty nice show in my hometown. I think they're playing there too. Yeah.
Oh, they're in Hamilton this Sunday.
Is that right? Yeah, they're fun to see. That's one of my first dates with my wife, was to go to see the Moody Blues. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we've been speaking to Les Emmerson, no relation to Keith.
That's it.
But yeah, we're here at the Vinyl 95.3.
Having a wonderful time on a beautiful day, and also I can get to publicly thank everybody here, because they were so nice to us. It was just a pleasure. No waves at all, just smooth sailing.
Okay, here we are. Thank you.
Thank you.